Alright, hello and welcome to another NVIZ Battle Report. We are doing sort of a phase ending of our campaign, the sector campaign. Doing a big 2,000 point duking it out with the Orks versus the rusty Necrons rising up out of the junk of Junkata. We're doing ETC style mission number 4, which is a relic in the center. The relic this time is a pink horror that could potentially unleash some psychic powers for the Orks if they capture it. We're deploying on Hammer and Anvil. Necrons will be over here. Orks will be over here. And the ETC Maelstrom layer is Spoils of War, so we can steal each other's points with 6 objectives scattered very evenly throughout the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's an overview of the board. We'll look at the Ork contingency, 2,000 points of Orks. What do we got?
We have this here's a battle wagon with 2 big shooters, ARG case. That's the dedicated transport for 5 mega knobs. No boss pool. And we have 10 boys with a knob with a big chopper and armor. And we have 10 boys with a knob with a armor and a big shooter. 10 Gretchen. They both have run herders and squig hounds. 7 knob bikers. 2 of them big chopper and power claw also in there. 7 of them. 5 death copters with buzzsaw, and then war boss on a bike with a power claw. Pain boy on a bike with just that as is. War boss also has lucky stick and cyborg body. Big mech with armor, flamethrower, scorcher, custom force field, and war boss with my grand warlord and also the warlord of the army with mega armor and the thinking cap. He also has the fixer upper, and he has the thinking cap, which gives me an extra strategic trait.
Wow! All right, 2,000 point mouthful of Orks going up against 2,000 points of Necrons with a little bit of Tau sprinkled in. This has kind of become my standard. Necron, Rusty Crons. I got 2 night size with 7 warriors, and each one has Haywire Cryptek in it. I got another night scythe with Deathmark assassins and a Despair Cryptek, the Death and Despair unit. Destroyer Lord, Catacomb Command Barge, 2 Annihilation Barges. I got another Death and Despair unit that is going to deep strike in with that war gear. 6 Wraiths that are going to go with the Destroyer Lord. And then I'm bringing a little, I'm going to do a little Battle of the Air Forces today. So, brought some anti-air, the tower, chipping in with a Riptide, 4 Pathfinders, Cater Fireblade, and 6 Fire Warriors. Alright, that's it. We're going to... I guess we'll just do all the pre-game stuff. We'll roll off. Necrons are deploying here. Orks are deploying here, and we'll be back with deployment. Alright, here's the deployment. Orks won the roll-off, and Necrons lost the roll to seize, so Orks will go first. Gretchen here. Boys in the ruin that we decided was ruin. Bikes lined up across there. We got your... What's up in the ruin there?
That's boys with a big
boys
shooter.
In the ruin.
Yeah.
Battle wagon. The Copters already made their scout move forward, and Gretchen all the way over there. My deployment is here. I've stayed back. Necrons are still sleepy. Wraiths, Destroyer Lord, Pathfinders up in the building. Middle of the table, I got my anti-barges and Tau. 1 Death and Despair units in the rocks back there, and the 3 flyers are flying on. Let me get a shot of the big picture game. Alright, so that will be turn. That's deployment. We'll be back with Orks turn 1. Alright, turn 1 for the Orks. Saw them have to make 3 pinning tests because of my Warlord trait. Failed it on the flank here and here, but they had to club a couple of little Gretchen to regain their forward movement. Bikes blasted forward, copters blasted forward and grabbed the objective. Battle wagon moved forward behind terrain. And did you score any cards?
Scored objective 6.
You scored objective 6. Which one's that one?
Right here.
Okay, so you got on objective 6, which is behind that huge jungle piece there.
Yeah.
And you own objective 1, right?
Yeah.
Which is right here, so potentially I could score that next turn. And that's Orks, turn 1. They move forward in a mad rush with copters and bikes. And the waiting Necrons are back here. Alright, here was turn 1 for the Necrons. I had, the cards I drew were issue a challenge, kill a unit in assault, and kill a vehicle or monstrous creature. So killing a vehicle or monstrous creature is very difficult. I went for issuing the assault. I'm issuing the challenge and killing the assault by getting the wraiths from over there to over there. They ended up eventually getting into assault. Everything else basically jostled forward a little bit. Ineffective shooting across the board from all of this until we get to the Riptide. He got 3 marker lights and used them to take away the cover on the copters and mowed down, peeled back. What did I kill? 3 copters or something with that?
We gotta do a leadership check.
And the command barge got on objective 1 to steal that from the Orks. And then in assault, I issued a challenge. The wraiths did a bunch of damage, killed like 4 bikes or so, and then the Ork war boss, in response to his, basically based on his response rolls, he killed a few more bikes, mine shackle scarabs and what have you. So I issued a challenge, I scored objective 1, and I'm locked in assault here. So it ended up being an effective turn for Necrons. That's the board at the end of 1. Alright, turn 2 for the Orks. Saw the battle wagon move forward, and the Mega Knobs popped out. The Grand Warlord stayed in the wagon. They joined the assault, and you only got 1 of your flyers on. The buzz of the bomber flew as fast as it could across the table, got all the way to the other side. You killed 1 Tau dude in shooting, and the Mega Knobs joined the assault. They killed like 3 wraiths or so, and the wraith return attack was able to wipe out the remainder of the bikes, and the warlord died due to mine shackle scarabs. And that is it. You didn't score any Maelstrom stuff, but you were able to move the relic back with the copters.
Yep.
So that's the end of halfway through 2. Alright, Necrons had a good turn. All the flyers came on.
We gotta do the
1.
assault.
Oh yeah, we gotta do the assault. I'll still tell you what happened, and then we'll just sort of do the assault after.
Yeah.
All the flyers came on. The Haywire units both popped out. The Death and Despair unit stayed in the flyer. Death and Despair Night Sight dumped shots into the copters, killed a few. The Death and Despair unit that was in the corner deep struck and hit and finished off the copters. The Haywire and Gauss from this unit here wrecked the battle wagon. And the Tau all dumped their marker lights and shots into the flyer, and it jinked like a madman. But really effective in that I wiped out the copters, wiped out the battle wagon. The cards that I drew were I already had the card for kill a vehicle, so I scored that. I drew a card for kill a unit, which I did, and I earned something else. Destroy something in shooting. So I am now at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. How many do you have? One. And we'll be back with the resolution of this turn 2 assault. Okay, so the Orks, turn 3. A lot happened, but basically all my Death and Despair unit that was there, all these 3 units of Orks converged on it, smushed it, wiped it out. The plane here got a bunch of shots on Necrons, but they stood back up, some of them. The main, we got in a bunch of assaults. It was mostly assaults this turn for the Orks. Gretchen assaulted the Necrons and they wiped them back out. But the Mega Knobs and the main war boss, the war boss joined the assault on the Mega Knobs, and the Wraiths and D-Lord. Wraiths finally gave up the ghosts, but they held out a lot, did tons of work this game, probably MVP of the game. And now the D-Lord took a wound, right? Yeah. D-Lord took a wound and is locked with two Mega Knobs and the Warlord. And that's the bulk of the turn. Happened in the middle of the table there. So halfway through 3.
Hello, man. Hello.
End of 3, Necron turn. Saw. What cards did I have? I had score 1 if I was on objective 3, which is over there in the corner. I had score objective marker 2, which is... No, 3 is here. 2 is over there, so I have 2 objectives. I have another card that says if you're on 3 objectives, which I am, because I dropped the Pathfinder down there, so I score 3, I score 2, I score for controlling 3 objectives, really racking up the points here. And then Death and Despair unit jumped out of the Night Scythe, and combined shooting from Tesla, Flyers, and Death and Despair wiped out the boys there. Did some more fringe damage here, so I'm peppering away there. And the assault here. Catacomb Command Barge joined the assault here. And basically the sum total of it was die rolling. I didn't get anything through, but Mind Shackle Scarabs held up all of the return attacks from the War Boss and the Mega Knobs. So we continue to be locked in the center of the table. We've been locked in combat in the center of the table all game. And Riptide fired into the flyer that was here, and it failed 3 Jinx saves on 3 pens and crashed. So I killed the flyer. I scored 3 Maelstrom points. I moved forward on the board, and this is where we're at the end of 3.
Yep, top of 4 coming up.
Alright, turn 4 for the Orks. Saw the flyer come on here and napalm the Cryptek and Necrons that were standing here. Other flyer was less effective, missed with its small blasts and didn't do much hits. The crux of a little bit of things over here. You got, it's very dense with all the flyers here. You got the assault over here. I killed the Knob, and the death marks are in assault with 1 Ork. And the main thing that happened over here was the Catacomb Command Barge and Destroyer Lord went up against the Mega Boss, War Boss, and 1 Mega Knob, and 1 Mega Knob died due to not Mind Shackle Scarab. So still locked with the War Boss. That's halfway through 4, and coming up to a conclusion very soon. Alright, we got into Necron turn 4, and we are going to call it because basically what I was able to do is kill a flyer with that Annihilation Barge. You know, the whole snap shooting when you snap shoot it with your Tesla, that's sort of unfair. Killed the flyer with that. Finished off his backfield mostly with the death marks back there and the Annihilation Barge there. And then in this combat here, the Douche Canoe and the D-Lord were able to harm or kill the War Boss there. I got a marker light hit and flyer shots into that flyer and peppered it down to 1 wound. As far as cards, I was just able to score a ridiculous amount of cards. Scoring unit,
too many.
I didn't get that one. But I scored objective 5. So I think I'm at like 9 or 10 Maelstrom points. You only had 1 or 2. Luke, come over here. I want to shake your hand because it was a super fun game. Good game. Thanks for playing, and finally had the dice and things go my way after a long bout of bad dice, but super fun game. Nobody ended up with relic. Well, we ended up calling it, so I probably would have been able to pick up the relic at that point, and clearly won the Maelstrom, got first blood, and slay the Warlord. So a pretty hearty victory for Necrons. The narrative continues. That's actually I think that was my first campaign victory. So the Necrons are digging in a little harder, and the Orks. What does this mean? You're gonna have to try a different way to get some psychic powers or something in campaign terms, or you just
Weird boy.
Just get it other means. So that's how things ended up. And thanks for watching NVIZ Battle Reports, and check out our podcast, Veterans of the Long War, on Facebook and on iTunes.